The questions I get asked most commonly are which professions make the most gold? How do I make gold? How do I pick a profession? Which profession is most profitable? Is that sort of stuff. And it's always difficult because markets are changing all the time. Now, whether you are on the EU or the US, I actually have an answer and I can show you what's profitable and show you how you can target markets that seem to be profitable over the long term. But you need to bear with me as I go through this video and then you'll sort of get it at the end. So on the War Within release, I was really disappointed because of the lack of videos I was able to put out. I had a huge stockpile of knowledge. I'd built up all this knowledge from a huge amount of time on the PTR, but I simply did not have enough time to put out enough videos. I think I only put maybe 6 or 7 videos out in the first 2 weeks of the expansion, which is really, really poor. But of course, I was working full time, so it was very difficult. Even worse, I didn't get my concentration videos out until the middle of September, so it's sort of like 3 weeks into the expansion. And by that time, the profit margins had dropped by 90%. Now, it's still, for enchanting, for example, it was still 10,000 gold profit per enchant at that point. But it was 100,000 gold right at the start of the expansion. So if I'd have got those videos out much earlier, it would have just been so much better for everybody. But, of course, very disappointing that it took that amount of time. But things have changed recently. So I have quit my job and I'm now going full-time content creator split between YouTube, Twitch, and Patreon. So now next time when a new expansion comes, I'm going to have loads of time to make videos. So 3, 4, 5 videos a day is what we're looking at when an expansion first releases. So we can cover everything and hopefully all those things that were missed because it took me so long to get videos out because I was having to work and annoying life, stuff like that. Hopefully that's not going to be an issue at the moment. So significantly more time. I'm also streaming 5 days a week over at Twitch as well at the moment. So you can find a link to that if you want to catch me there in the description below as well. We're constantly running sort of 10 million gold giveaways every month over on Twitch at the moment as well. Now, obviously, because of this, I do need to monetize more. Despite popular belief, YouTube basically pays practically nothing at the level that I do YouTube at. So I needed to put a huge amount of work into producing something that would be an appropriate reward and help support people in their gold making for those people that decided to support me on Patreon, because that will be where the majority of my sort of income will come from going forward. So we have the Kaychak War Within profession sheet. So at the moment, this is 23 tabs and it still keeps expanding as the weeks go on. And this covers almost everything in the War Within, or at least the region-wide stuff anyway. At the most basic level, it is telling you what knowledge, profession gear, and other things you need to be running to sort of be a BIS crafter with each of these individual things for each profession, basically. Now, what most people find particularly useful with this sheet is it's going to tell you the profit margins on almost everything, rank 1, 2, and 3, sort of instantly. So not just with crafting, but this is with disenchanting, shattering, prospecting, formatology, refining, gem crushing, all that's on the sheet as well. You can see here we click on the tabs and anything that's green is in profit and anything in red is a loss. And it's super easy just clicking through the sheet to figure out what's a profit, what's not. Not only is this really strong in telling you what to craft now, but it's also probably just as useful, extremely useful for showing you what to target profession-wise. Now, if you see that something is constantly in profit, then you can see this is a profession that may be worth looking at. You don't need the profession setup or anything like that. The sheet is going to tell you this. Every time you do a scan and you input the information into the sheet, then you can see what's at profit. And if you can see if the same stuff's profit over a long period of time, then that's something that's, there's a gap in the market there, or something that at least you know is going to make profit. This is an issue that sort of you have with add-ons and stuff like CraftSim, is you can't see what the profit margins are and anything else to know what to target, because it's only just sort of simming what you currently have. In addition to this, something else that an add-on won't show you is sort of what things, the sort of profit margins of something crafting from start to finish. So for example, binaural ciphers, we go from herbs, buy herbs, mill them into pigments, turn the pigments into inks and the inks into binaural ciphers. So CraftSim will tell you the profit margins at each stage, but it can't tell you sort of that overall profit margin and whether it's worth doing that or not. So that may put you off certain crafting, because it might not look profitable, or it might look really low profit, when in fact it's actually okay if you sort of do it all the way through. Now, just to show you how this sheet actually works, to import the data, we run an auctioneer scan, and we just import that straight into the sheet. Now, one of the issues you do have when you're running auctioneer scans is you will find debate auctions. There's always people on there. So say something's at 10 gold, there'll be people on there sort of listing up 4 or 5 gold, something like that. So you do need to manually update certain things for that. So what we do is on the materials page here, this will automatically get populated when you copy and paste information in there. So anything you put in a peach coloured box will automatically override anything that's in a sort of one of the boxes that's been scanned in from Auctionator. So, for example, you look on the sheet, it says prospecting rank 2 iron claw is ridiculously profitable. So you go and check it out, and then you see the price of iron claws. Actually, it's not 4 gold as it's scanned in. There's one auction at 4 gold, and then the rest of it's 8 gold. So then you update the price to 8 gold, and then you're going to see sort of the sheet will update accordingly and tell you the new profit margins because of that. So you just need to be careful with that with the bait scans. But besides that, it's largely automatic. It's a very powerful tool when used correctly, and a lot of people have done really well from it. But you can do a bit more. So I'm not going to go into this too much because this is a bit more advanced. But for gold makers who do like to do this sort of stuff, so there's what I call repricing for prospecting and formatology in here so far. So basically what that means is you can say, like we said earlier, the rank 2 iron claw. Say we prospected that rank 2 iron claw. We want to craft vials out of what we get out of that, but the rest of the stuff we're going to sell. So what we do is sell off the gems, we sell off the pebbles because we don't need that for our vials. We can then get accurate costs for the materials we have left over to put into our vials, so we get an accurate cost of our vials from that. It's a bit, I'm not going to go into it too much because I've got on the Patreon, I've got a video on it about itself. And to be fair, it's not something that a load of people are going to use, but it's just something, a little cool thing that's in there as well. So you can even get really wild. So you can do like formatology, processing leather into, say, herbs and into ores. You can then process the ore with prospecting to get the vials. You can then refine those herbs into materials for potions, turn those vials and both those herbs into rank 3 potions or something like that. You can do really crazy stuff with this. If you really wanted to, and you can get sort of accurate numbers throughout. But most people won't want that. Most people just want to know, what profession setup do I need? What are the profit margins? And sort of what do I need to be crafting at the moment? So that's the basic stuff of the sheet. So the advantage of running the sheet over something like an add-on is that it will tell you which markets to target as well, generally speaking, because you can see it, because you just see what's going to be green all the time, basically. And of course, this patch, we have profession respec coming. So that might help some people as well, because now if you were using the sheet, then you can sort of use the profession respec accordingly, and you can get that sort of profession set up that much easier. Now, previously I did a video about talking about crafting sheets and making them yourself. And I said in that video that I think you are better making crafting sheets yourself. And I still believe that. I do believe that because you understand what's going into it more. But, and there is a but here, this sheet now has it has well over 100 hours in it. And I sort of get it. Like when my sheet was really basic before and anyone else can put a really basic one together, then that's fair enough. But this obviously, it's moved on a bit from then. It's moved on quite a lot since then. So I understand how people are pushing. And like before, I wasn't pushing really to, I wasn't really pushing towards people towards the Patreon to get the sheet because I wasn't that confident in it. But now it has come on a lot, and I'm much more confident that people can get some good use out of this, and especially from the feedback I've had from other people as well. So, like I said, if you want to sign up for my Patreon, it does help support me as a long-term content creator. I'm not going to be someone who screams at the start of every video, buy this, buy that, Patreon, stuff like that. But I did want to showcase what was on my Patreon because I do want this to be a success. Because I feel if I will give this a go for maybe a year and see how it goes and see if it is viable to do this as a long-term content creator and sort of like do this full time. If I can't, there's a high possibility I may just step back from it completely, because if I go back to working full time and trying to do the content creator stuff at the same time, it's very demanding on your time. And like, there's so many games and stuff that I've not played at all, because you just, like, when I was working full time, and you're trying to do content creation as well, you just do not have time to do anything. So I think, like, I would probably just go back to being like a regular player and stuff like that, if it doesn't work out. But I really want it to. I really want to, come midnight, me be able to put out a ridiculous amount of content. I don't mean trash content. I mean, like, good content that helps people. Like, you do a setup guide for each profession. You do a concentration guide for each profession. You do, like, you can just do so much. But time was the limiting factor going into this expansion. So, like, I did do a concentration video, but I had such a lack of time. I just whacked all the concentration builds into one video, and so many people missed it. And those that did see that video and did go with it made a lot of gold. But it was, it was missed by a lot of people until I did sort of those second loads of concentration videos. In addition to the crafting sheet, if you are supporting me on Patreon, you do get sort of early access to all YouTube videos as well. So as soon as basically I make a YouTube video, I upload it today. I do occasionally do Patreon only videos as well, but it's not a very, very sort of regular thing. But that does happen as well. Like I said, every time I get asked this question, it's like, what's the current best profession? What's the most profit and stuff like that? It's really, really difficult to answer because it changes every time. I can do a scan and look at the sheet and I can say this is profitable now. But the important thing is, like, it's okay saying this is profitable now, but is this profitable in the long term? But if you are doing this scan, say you do this scan a couple of times a day, and you get the information and you start saying, well, that's profitable all the time. That's profitable, but very occasionally. I don't really want that. I want the thing that's profitable all the time. And then you can sort of go with that. But anyway, at least it gives you the information to be able to sort of make these judgments yourself. So that's it. That's what's on the Patreon if you want it. And like I said, it is a very powerful tool, and it's helped a lot of people with their goal making. But it's not going to make you a millionaire overnight. It is a tool, and it is there to help you. But you still need to put the work in. It will tell you what's profitable. It will tell you what's not profitable. It will tell you what specs you need to run, etc., etc. But it's not going to make the gold for you. You still need to do what the sheet tells you is good to go at the moment. And even with all that being said, even if you guys, you can't support on Patreon and stuff like that, that's fine. If you ever want me to just run a scan, just come onto Twitch, ask me to run a scan. I can run a scan. I can tell you what's currently profitable and what's currently not. It's as simple as that, really. But an individual scan's not as useful as sort of doing scans over a sort of period of time, because, like I said, the markets are up and down all the time. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and any of the extra support you do give me. See you next time.